One Friday Fights 110 is live this Friday, the 30th of May at 2:30 South African time, live on YouTube. I'll be breaking this fight card down next in Fighting with Friends. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. It's your boy, Brother Gaia, back again with another breakdown of One Friday Fights 110. Like I said, it's live this Friday at 2:30 South African time on the One Championship YouTube page. So be sure to check that out. As always, we will start at the top of the card. And today I'm doing a little bit different. I'm just going to bring up the sort of just the poster fight post, not even the poster, just the matchups, because the details aren't completely uploaded to the One Championship homepage or their page, website. So yeah, I just took this picture off Twitter and then boom, here we go. So like I said, let's start from the very, very top. We have Worapon taking on Ilyas Musaev, and this is going to be a fantastic fight. I think Worapon he's starting to get into his own. He's starting to look nice and jacked. If you look at his last fight against Soner Sen, he looked really, really good in that fight. Worapon, 22 years old. He's recording one championship. He's 3 wins, 4 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 1 win by KO. Like I said, he beat Soner Sen in his last fight by unanimous decision. He was in a 3-fight losing streak before that. He fought some really top names. Let me just see if I can bring it up on screen. But he's fought some really top names in the One Championship before. And yeah, I'm a fan. He's a hard-hitting fighter. He's got some good kicks, good body kicks. He's fought Soner Sen twice. He lost to Anta Kasim. He lost to Panrit. He fought Hiroki Tasashara. He fought Zlatan. Yeah, he's fought some really good names. So I just think that at 22 years old, he's coming into his own right now, and having so much experience under his belt. And on the world stage of One Championship, it's quite massive for him. And I'm taking on Soner Sen, who I think is a tough fight for anybody. He fought him twice, last one, won one. Whereas for Ilyas Musaev, what can I say? Pretty much the same kind of thing. They don't really give his age. But he's recording One Championship. He's 3 wins, also 4 losses, 0 no contest. 3 wins by KO. He beat Super Bowl by KO in his last fight. And he himself has also fought some really, really top names in the One Championship. He lost to Yoda IQ. He beat Otop by KO, and then he went on a 3-fight losing streak against Ferrari, Kulabdam, and Yotputpa, by the way. So those are like really top names. Speaking of Yotputpa, where is this dude? Like, where is this dude? It was a time where he was, on top and beating everybody, and now all of a sudden we don't hear of him so much. It's a little bit strange, but anyway, we'll talk about him another time. In this fight, who do I think is going to win? I think it's going to play out. I get the feeling that Worapon might get caught here. I think he's really starting to level up his game. If you look at the last performance against Soner Sen, he got knocked down in that first round, and he came back and he just put on a masterclass. Forward momentum, body shot after body shot, really making Soner Sen have a tough time, and then he knocked down Soner Sen in the 3rd round. Pretty close to finishing the fight, by the way. So he's really leveled up his game in the sense of he's not as wild as he used to be, and he's a lot more selective in his shots. And he keeps his guard up. Although in the first round he got a little bit sucked into the chaos, and I didn't like that about the fight, and that's what ultimately dropped him. So against Ilyas, he's going to have to be technically sound. He's going to have to be defensively sound as well, because Ilyas is a very forward pressure fighter. If you want to think about, if I can give you a style to think about, just think about how Ubrus Usmanov fought against Yuki Yoza. Very similar style, fights out of the Medi Zatu gym. So if you know anything about the gym, you'd know the style in which they deploy. It's a very kickboxing hybrid Muay Thai kind of combination. And you know what I mean? It's not the traditional style of either one. It's just a combination of both, and that makes them quite dangerous. However, they don't have a lot of pop to their punches because they're prioritizing speed and distance rather than they're prioritizing full power blows. You know what I mean? And that's what we're going to see in this fight. We're going to see sort of the power punch of Worapon trying to take on the speed and precision of Ilyas Musaev. And that's why I think they have the main event, and it's fantastic. And I think both fighters are pretty much 1 or 2 wins away of making themselves a massive case for the $100,000 contract. This fight is at 142 pounds Muay Thai, so I think that, if I'm not mistaken, is close to the featherweight mark, 64 kilograms. So that's what, bantamweight? I think that's bantamweight. Not really. Well, they're close to the bantamweight mark. So yeah, I think these guys is just on course to making themselves very much a well-known name and potentially getting themselves that contract. But I'm gonna go with a pinch of salt. I'm gonna go with Worapon because I want him to win. But I think it's gonna be a very tough fight for him. I'm being honest. I don't think it's gonna be as easy. But if he fights anything the way he fought against Soner Sen, I think he can beat anyone really. He showed a lot of patience, and he toughed out that knockdown and recovered in a very, very quick rate, by the way. And he went strong in round 2 and round 3. And of course, it's a different opponent. But I think that in terms of the height, the reach advantage, it's kind of similar to what it was like when he fought against Soner Sen. So tough fight, but yeah, I'm gonna go Worapon to get the job done. I wouldn't be surprised if he lost, but I'm gonna go Worapon regardless. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, you can always just drop your thoughts in our comments. Keep the conversation going. Let us know who you think is going to get the job done in that one. Pardon me. Because we want to keep the banter going, of course, man. Right. Then in the co-main event, which I'm super hyped for, we have Saming Dam taking on Amir Nasseri. Now, I don't think I've seen Amir fight before. Right, but I'm gonna give some stats. Here we go. So Saming Dam, 23 years old, record in one championship is 5 wins, 3 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 1 win by KO, 1 win by TKO, and he beat Mo Tet Ang by unanimous decision in his last fight. He also he was also on a 2-fight losing streak before that when he lost to Akif Kulizada. Let me just check that properly. He lost to Akif Kulizada and Puang Luang, who are also 2 fighters that are, they're climbing up their ranks. This is in flyweight, so that's fantastic. There's no catch weight, none of that nonsense. These guys are fighting in a division, so I think there's more stake to this one. If you ask me, who I think is gonna win, I'm gonna go. Amir. Before I go into that, Amir Nasseri is 33 years old. His record in one championship is 0 wins, 3 losses, 0 no contest. All 3 of those losses came by a unanimous decision. He lost to Seksan in his last fight. So yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate one. And all those fights came. His last fight was in 2023 World Championship. So he's been gone for some time, right? So this is obviously a comeback. Last week we saw a comeback for Brice Dalval, and he lost unfortunately. Let's see what happens here. If Amir took the time off, probably fought in other organizations at the time. I didn't check out his apology page, but yeah, this is kind of his return to one championship now. He's taking on someone that is at the moment, also kind of finding his feet again. But I think Saming Dam is a really good fighter. I think he's powerful. He hits really hard. Prioritizes his boxing more than anything else. Does throw some kicks here and there. But I think this fight's going to be a battle of, distance. I think Amir's probably going to skate around quite often, come in with jabs, throwing some cool boxing combinations, but then use a lot of in and out movement. And we're going to see Saming Dam try and chase him down. I think Saming Dam's going to have to utilize a lot of leg kicks in this fight, essentially just to kind of slow down his opponent and make the target a little bit more stationary rather than someone that's moving around a lot. Make him a little bit more stationary, and then he can let those hands go. So I'm going to go Saming Dam to win the fight via either TKO second round, or he wins by unanimous decision over the course of the 3 rounds. But that's going to be a pretty much of a firework kind of fight. These flyweight guys push the pace. They're really, really quick, and they pack a lot of power in their punches as well. So, and Saming Dam is exactly that. It's just a matter of, is he going to be able to track down Amir? And I do think he's got it in his locker room to do wheelhouse to be able to do that. I really do think he has it in his wheelhouse to be able to do that. It's just a matter of doing it, right? That's where it gets a little bit tricky. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. I'm going to sip my coffee. I just need to lubricate the throat there. All right. So I'm going to keep it moving, obviously. But I want to get your thoughts on that one in the comments. Like I said, I'm going to go with Saming Dam. I've seen him fight more frequently over the last 3 years. And I've become, I would say, quite the fan, but I've put some interest in him because I thought there's a talent in there. Okay, he's gone on a losing streak prior to the fight. He just won last. But other than that, I don't think it's the losses highlight him in a way. You know what I mean? He's only 22, 23 years old. So I think there's a lot in there that just needs to be pulled out. And the more he fights, the more we get to see it. And yeah, Saming Dam probably going to get the stoppage in that one there. Maybe even get a bonus. But for now, we'll keep it moving to, if you can see on screen, bout number 10. My mouse cursor is over here. Bout number 10. That is left of the screen. So let's just do that quickly. Bout number 10 sees Lam Singh taking on Pan Sak, right? That is 128-pound Muay Thai. I'm not mistaken. What's that? If the 135, if the 145 is their bantamweight, so then they're pretty much a pound over the flyweight mark. So, or 2 pounds, 3 pounds over the flyweight mark. Yeah, that's what that is. That's what these guys are fighting. Catch weight. So Lam Singh, 29 years old, record in one championship, 3 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest, 1 win by TKO. He beat Gao Payak by TKO in his last fight. He only lost to Kawatem before, which is the fight before that, and which makes him, like I said, 3 wins out of the 4 in one championship. I mean, Kawatem is a beast. He's a massive flyweight, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, I can understand why he lost that fight. I mean, power puncher for sure. Right, and then Pan Sak, he's 25 years old. He's recording one championship. He's also 3 wins, 1 loss, and 0 no contest. He's also on a 3-fight winning streak as it stands. He beat Palangpun by split decision in his last fight. That was a bit of a back and forth bar fight. If you go watch that one again. So who do I think is going to win here? The reason why I was putting some interest in this fight is because Lam Singh is fighting out of the Sword Dachapan gym. So I leave his fights out of that gym as well, and Alif and his younger brother, and they're producing some really talented fighters. And if you go watch Alif style, you understand why I've got this hype out of the Sword Dachapan gym, because these guys, they're slick. They are slick, and they're a growing gym, and I expect that gym to really produce some top quality fighters. It's just a matter of time before Alif and his brothers fighting for titles. Honestly, I can say that right now because they really are super, super talented. So that's probably why I'm putting a lot of stock into this Lam Singh fight. Because I'm keen to see what he's going to bring to the table when he comes out of such a fantastic gym, right? For Pan Sak, you know what you get. You get a very durable, stand-up, hard kind of puncher. A guy loves to walk you down, and he's not afraid to stay in the pocket. In fact, he loves to fight in the pocket. He never really fights from the outside. It's not his game. He wants to get in very close and make the fight as dirty, as grueling as possible. That's a very, very tricky fight for someone like Lam Singh, who is coming from a gym that prioritizes technique and fighting at the distance, and they piece you up over the rounds and they put you away as rounds go on. If you go watch Alif fight and his brother, that's exactly what they do when they represent that gym. He's a very methodical fighter. They really break you down and they set up their strikes in a very beautiful way, and that makes for a very intriguing matchup here. So, and if you think about Lam Singh, right, 4 fights, he only lost to Kawatem. Kawatem is at the moment a name that is a prospect there, right? He's young, and one championship love this kid. So I can understand, and also he's a power puncher as well. He hits like a truck. So that's the thing for Lam Singh, one loss. But this is going to be a bit of a car crash kind of fight. And if it's going to be a car crash, you kind of want to bet on Pan Sak because of his durability, right? But I can see Lam Singh piecing him up and sort of evading those car crashes and making the fight at his pace and his distance. That should be the game plan, by the way. And if he does that, he gets the job done for me over the course of 3 rounds. Possibly even getting a finish. But I think if he gets sucked into a brawl very early into the fight, it's going to be an uphill battle for him from there. So that's why that fight is quite intriguing and also a very, very interesting matchup for the two guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Obviously, I'm going to keep asking you to do that after each fight because we love to hear what you guys have to say. All right, I'm going to keep it moving, right, to my notes. But my notes, I skipped 2 fights in my notes. So about number 9, we see Chat Pet taking on Tun Min Ang, also out of Myanmar, Burma. That fight is at 160 pounds. So that makes it very exciting because now what I'm noticing in that weight class is that One Championship is trying to find fighters to fight in the lightweight Muay Thai division, which is beautiful, right? Obviously, lightweight Muay Thai, I think, is 155 pounds in One Championship. So I think it's really time to increase that division in terms of roster, in terms of amount of fighters, because we need that, right? The immortal Reagan Ursel has been big in One Championship to make him fight more in the Muay Thai divisions, Muay Thai discipline, because he's got the title there, but he's like, I don't have anyone to fight against to defend it. I've just been fighting my kickboxing lightweight, and he fought one opponent 3 times in the last 2 years. 2 years. You know what I mean? I would also be, as Reagan Ursel, be like, yo, give me someone else. I've got another title here. Let me fight another person in a different discipline. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's gonna get George Jarvis next. But we just saw Liam Nolan lose to Abul Fassel, who's also just surprisingly knocked him out on a short notice fight. So there are fighters in the division that we need. So this fight in terms of Chat Pet versus Tun Min Ang, For me, it's going to be a fight to see what that lightweight Muay Thai division is going to look like. I don't know anything about the two athletes, to be honest with you. None of this stuff popped up on the One Championship website, and I typed their names in. Couldn't really find anything on them there, so it's a bit of an unknown. So I'm going to ask you again, if you can let me know anything about these guys in the comments, please do. But what I'm more keen to see about that fight is to see what these athletes look like, so we can get more lightweight Muay Thai fights going instead of just all the way up until featherweight. All right. Now the other fight that I also skipped was a fight between Super Sub. Excuse me. Oof, pardon me. Oof, pardon me. Was a fight between Super Sub. Is a fight between Super Sub and Mohammed Tawfiq. Now Mohammed Tawfiq, also Super Sub. I think this might be his debut. Typed his name in on One Championship, couldn't find anything. And Mohammed Tawfiq, or Tawfiq, if that's how you want to say it. I think it's Tawfiq. He only had one fight in One Championship, and that was, I'm just going to pull it up here again. I had the notes, but then I took his name off just because he's fighting against someone that doesn't have any information to grab. So I kind of just like left him alone. But Mohammed Tawfiq has fought in the One Championship already. Let me just get this here. Just bear with me. There we go. These guys are fighting at 136-pound Muay Thai, right? So they're literally 1 pound over the bantamweight division. So yeah, we could see some more bantamweight prospects here. Mohammed Tawfiq fought against Asadullah Iman Ghazaliev. Yeah, so that was his first fight in One Championship, and he lost that fight by unanimous decision. He was getting pieced up. I don't know how he even was able to stand, but he was getting pieced up quite badly. Only 20 years old, 6 foot tall. So there is a talent there. There is a prospect there. You know, there is something that they can do with the kid. Obviously, but I mean, Abdullah is the scary athlete to fight against. So yeah, I think Tawfiq obviously is going to want to try and put on a show again to showcase what he didn't get a chance to showcase in that fight. But I don't know anything about Super Sub, so yeah, I'm just interested to see what this fight actually brings. Because I want to see Mohammed Tawfiq show us what he's capable of, and I'm just also keen to see someone like Super Sub. It's a mad name, Super Sub. So let's see what he's all up about. Now, the next fight, I do have some information on that because I have seen Toyota fight before. Toyota is 24 years old. This is bout number 7, right? This is just before the bout of Mohammed Tawfiq and Super Sub. Toyota is 24 years old. His record in One Championship is 2 wins, 0 losses, 0 no contests. 2 wins by KO. He beat Ted Chanan by KO in that last fight. So he started his One Championship career with just knockouts, right? And very, very fascinating fighter. This fight is at 116 pounds. So these guys are pretty much touching the atom weight. Weight is 125. So they're touching more atom weight, 115. Which is really exciting, right? Because we now know Nadaka and Shinari is there. I think Nadaka has actually got his opponent for a fight. It's going to be on Friday. The fight's 114. But I'll do a video on that again a bit later. Right, so Toyota's taking on Yod Udon, who is 27 years old. His record in One Championship is 0 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest. That loss came up against TI, and TI knocked his ass out. So yeah, I think Yod Udon definitely needs a win here. I expect him to kind of use his power punching style, kind of keep his high guard going there. But Toyota's slick, man. He also has a power puncher, and he's a fight finisher kind of athlete. Like, he goes in there and he just wants to put you away. He doesn't want to play any games, take the fight as long as possible. He's a killer kind of mentality. So he just goes in there and just stands and bang. And I think he's going to get the job done again here. I think he's going to utilize that ability to be quick in and out movements, use the elbows, use the tips, attack the legs. And Toyota is just that kind of fighter. He's just brutal, and I think that's what's going to get him over the line here. He has the killer instinct to make the fight a very grueling and aggressive fight, and I'm a big fan so far. Especially if you look at those 2 fights, I thought he put on a fantastic performance in his opening 2 bouts in One Championship. So big ups to that one. Then we're gonna move on to, of course, let me know your thoughts as well. Then we're gonna move on to the headliner of the undercard, which is bout number 6. On the left of your screen, we have Komawut taking on Soner Sen. That's going to be a fun fight. Definitely a banger. So Komawut, 26 years old, record in One Championship is 7 wins, 3 losses, and 0 no contest. But 1 win by KO. He lost to Soakim by TKO in his last fight. He also fought some of the very, very top guys in One Championship. I'm just going to quickly grab the statistics on screen for myself just to go through again. Soner Sen, he's 28 years old. His record in one championship is 5 wins, 3 losses, 0 no contests. He's got 3 wins by KO, 1 win by TKO with an 80% finishing rate. He lost to Worapon by unanimous decision in his last fight. Before that, he was in a 3-fight winning streak. So I mean, he's been going in there, right? So Komawut, very short. He's 5'4", but he's got dynamite in his hands. Like I said, he lost to Suakim. Suakim is a killer though, absolute killer. He lost to Suakim. Before that, he was on a 3-fight win streak. He beat Panrit, beat Alexei Balikau, Parit by KO, Alexei Balikau by unanimous decision. Then he beat Siwa Korn by split decision. Then he lost to Yodlik Pet. Then he beat Yodputpa. He beat Panrit again. He fought Avatar twice, winning 1, losing 1, and then he also beat Ponseri. But that was the Ponseri that isn't really the main killer. It's the other brother, the other twin. So Komawut is he's an absolute threat for anybody, right? He's been in there knocking people out. Only 26 years old, power puncher. But sometimes he gets caught because he relies so much, like Yodlik Pet. They're so heavy-handed and heavy elbowed that they're not really utilizing kicks that much to set up those heavy hands. And I think if they just introduced that to their arsenal of strikes, they'll make them even more deadlier, right? Where Soner Sen, you know what they get after Soner Sen, right? He's taller, he's 5'10", doesn't have as much power in terms of Komawut. But Soner Sen has got a very cool style, right? Also very much the hybrid between kickboxing and Muay Thai. Soner Sen, right, he fought Worapon back-to-back, winning 1, losing 1. Then he was on a 3-fight winning streak. He beat Pet Garfield by TKO. He beat Nontakit by KO. He lost to Yodputpa. He lost to Rambo Lek. Then he beat Otop and he beat Konklai. That's really good names on his record in one championship, right? And one thing about Soner Sen is he fights off the jab really well. He kicks a lot. Doesn't really throw a lot of power in those shots, but it keeps you active. It keeps you defending. And sometimes you get caught up in those softer shots that you leave yourself open to counter one, and then you throw in a really fast 1-2 down the pipe, and then you get in dropped by Soner Sen because that's what he does. He's got good uppercuts as well, just like a kickboxer would fight. But just because one thing about Soner Sen is he goes high volume, high pace, and then he gets tired in round 3, right? Round 1 and round 2, he kind of stitch himself so far away from you that he's forcing you to get the knockdown in the 3rd round to make the fight kind of even. But at that point, if you don't get the knockdown, he's most likely going to win the fight. 9 times out of 10, that's how he wins his fights. So he's got to keep his hands up and not get caught in those power punches. Because I think Komawut is probably going to try and target his body. If you can watch tape on Soner Sen, if you target his body, he does let the guard down, his hands come down, and you can kind of put him away, right? And you can, if you're really patient with Soner Sen and you let him do his wild stuff, just be defensively sound, keep checking, keep your guard up, move out of the way. Sometimes when you see Soner Sen switching stances, you can throw some shots to the body just to make him realize that you're not getting caught up into his stuff. You're not getting hypnotized by his movement. You're actually you're in the fight as well, and you're looking for that openings. And the openings to fight someone like Soner Sen is you counter-strike him, but the way Worapon beat him, Worapon just took it to him, just made it a grueling fight, made him fight backwards. If we're making Soner Sen fight backwards, he doesn't have that much pop to his shots. And he really doesn't have that much pop to his shots, but now you're making fight backwards, he really can't actually put much weight into his shots, right? So I think that Komawut's going to have to keep that guard up into the space, get very close, and then when Soner Sen is fighting backwards and he throws the 1-2 uppercut, but he's doing it while he's doing backwards, you can go 1-2, as he uppercuts, you just target the body, just throw a hard liver shot from a left or right hand, just hard liver shot him in those moments, because then you'll make him really rethink about how he needs to enter. Then you're going to get him going left or right. And then when Soner Sen does that, he goes into defensive mode. He doesn't really attack the way he would like to. So there is ways for Komawut to win the fight, as well as Soner Sen. I don't know if Soner Sen is going to be able to knock Komawut out. I think he can beat him by decision. Komawut's very durable. And Komawut is more than likely to be able to actually put Soner Sen down and win the fight that way. So that's going to be a hell of a fight, and I cannot wait for that one. But then let me know your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. I think both guys are pretty much very close to a contract as well. I think a win here in a very good fashion would put themselves in a fantastic argument with Chowdhury to get that $100,000 contract. All right. Then on the rest of the card, we have Arya Akbari taking on Fernando Amaya. Don't know anything about those guys. That is also 163 pounds for Muay Thai. So again, we're looking very close to the lightweight Muay Thai division. So super stoked for that. Can't really give you any sort of predictions or stats on that one. Don't know anything about the athletes, but I do have information about the fight that's after that or before that one. Excuse me, bout number 4, left of your screen. You have Super Chan taking on Muga Seto. Right, Super Chan, 20 years old, record in one championship, 1 win, 2 losses, no contest, 1 win by KO. He lost to Sankatit by unanimous decision. Sankatit is Rodtang's brother-in-law. He also beat Dunk by KO before that, so I think he's a future prospect fighting out of Myanmar. Love it, just gotta love it. Muga Seto, 28 years old, so he's obviously 8 years older. His record in one championship is 2 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest. He's got 2 wins by KO. He lost to Muay by KO in his last fight. Muay, he fought literally last week and got stopped in the first. Was it the first round or second round? He got stopped. It was the first round. I can't remember who beat Muay now. Who was that guy that beat Muay? Yeah, who was the guy? Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I need to remind myself of who beat this guy. I don't know why I'm forgetting about it. Oh yes, Wutikrai, the gigantic flyweight. Yeah, Imoy, also out of Myanmar, powerful puncher, hits really hard. But yeah, Mego Sato, he was on a 2-fight winning streak before that. All of it came by KO. So you know what you're going to get here, right? This is at 158 pounds. These guys are also pretty much in the bantamweight division, very close to the bantamweight division. I think Super Chan is a prospect. I think he's going to be something for the future. Right now, he's only 20 years old. When he gets beaten, it's because maybe a guy's a little bit more aggressive, a little bit making Super Chan fighting backwards, getting Super Chan pieced up. The thing about Super Chan is he also relies on his durability, like a lot of the lightweight fighters. Relies on their durability, good boxing, hits really hard, kicks really hard. But sometimes they're just a little bit slow to get traction, right? And that's where they started fighting on the, not necessarily back foot, but they're fighting catch up. They want to catch up now. For Muga Seto, he's obviously a very good boxer, very good Muay Thai practitioner out of Japan. Taller than Super Chan. He's obviously going to utilize his jab a lot more. But he can be clipped, right? He's been knocked out already by someone who's fighting also out of Myanmar. So I think there's a lot to be taken away from this one. I think Super Chan, he was a little bit more aggressive, but aggressive while being defensively sound. If he attacks the body of Muga Seto, I think he can win the fight here. I think if he doesn't head down too much, because if he body shots a lot, he can definitely get Saito to drop that hands, maybe throw a hook or something, and then leave himself exposed for a nice counter. It's going to be a fight where we see them predominantly in the middle, right? Because that's how they fight. Super Chan doesn't like to allow you to take up the space and eliminate the space behind him. He likes to go forward. So it's a matter of whoever wins the front foot battle is going to be the one that wins this fight for me. And Muga Sato is a beast, right? He's an absolute beast. I think if he utilizes his reach advantage, fight off the jab, fight off a front tip or a rear leg tip into the jab, rear leg tip, and set up a right hand, I think he has a pretty good chance of stopping Super Chan. But Super Chan is hard to put away, right? He's tough to put away. So yeah, I think and Sangatit that fought Super Chan last, he's a powerful guy, and he couldn't put Super Chan away. So I think it's going to be an exciting fight. I want to say Super Chan to win because I'm a fan, but I think Muga Sato is definitely more experienced, and I think he can ultimately game plan himself to a nice, smooth victory here. But of course, as always, ladies and gentlemen, give me your thoughts about this matchup and who you think is going to win. I can't wait that it's going to be this Friday. The rest of the fight card are very much unfamiliar fighters for me. Hu Yi taking on Ryuki Kawano. It's a strawweight kickboxing fight, so that's going to be fun. I mean, strawweight kickboxing is obviously always hyped. And then we have middleweight MMA fight between Ivan, I don't know how to say that, Kazenditsky. I think that's how you say his name. He's taking on Kurshidbek Buzarboyev, fighting out of Uzbekistan, I think. So it's Russia versus Uzbekistan. So that's middleweight. So that's going to be fun. I mean, we obviously want to see middleweight more active because we do have champion in that division, Anatoly Malikin. And then obviously the opening bout on the fight card is also an MMA bout between Diogo Calado taking on Shion Dobbin fighting out of Ireland. Let's go. Lightweight MMA. Always amped to see what these guys are up to in that MMA division. But of course, always, ladies and gentlemen, give me your thoughts about this fight card that is going to be taking place. I did the whole episode without the freaking ticker tape on. What an absolute loser. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, please drop a like, drop a share, let everyone know if Fighting with Friends is giving you some nice information, previews, breakdowns for one championship. And we're doing our lives, of course. But you can stay tuned this week for more content. We are going to be doing some UFC content tomorrow, breaking down the next fight card for the UFC, as well as some news that's coming out of the UFC organization. And then we'll obviously be doing our recaps of One Friday Fights 110, as well as the UFC Fight Night Blanchfield versus Barber this weekend, that Saturday and Sunday. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic week. You can catch myself and the team, like I said, this weekend and the remainder of the week. Stay blessed, stay safe. Much love to everybody. Cheers.